We click it up a notch in class as we move to the third. Class 3 on offer here for this 1200 metre handicap, and we start with Great Profit, Tommy Berry from 6. Some Street Somewhere, a former Kiwi galloper who won a couple of races, one at Group 2 level before coming to Hong Kong. Beauty Energy, Waldorf had blinkers last start. Mission Tycoon, another newcomer who was unbeaten in Australia. Starshine, Go Public, Speedy King, a last start winner. Royal Mojito, field of 11 for the third.
Yeah, Waldorf probably rolled forward a bit too much last time out and was rather tired in the latter stages. Extremely fun, often shows very good gate speed at Happy Valley, so you'd expect him to do something similar here. Royal Mojito's not mapping particularly well as far as our graphic goes there, and Speedy King should get a lovely position just in behind.
Here is the first start of Some Street Somewhere. He's the one on the far side there with a new horse as well, Absoluku. Look forward to him racing around, but Some Street Somewhere there on the far side. He's not far away. He's 1,054 pounds, so he's had plenty of work to go into it, and he has won over 1,200 before. Here's Waldorf. He's doing it nicely enough here as well. He's pretty fit. He's had the 3 starts now, and he worked pretty hard last time, so he did have excuses, but he's come out of it pretty well. I thought it wasn't a bad bit of work from Extremely Fun. He's only been to Sha Tin 3 times, has been placed there before, but he's better known as a Happy Valley horse.
You're a lover of this horse, Paul.
Yeah, I didn't put him in. I just had him in this particular race. I think more of a lover at Happy Valley.
Yeah, fair enough too, yeah. But he is an on-pace runner. He'll be right up there.
Yep.
Let's start with Starshine. Go Public has been competitive without sort of getting too close to them. I thought Starshine was very unlucky in this race, probably should have won. I'm going to side with him from a good barrier. He was a former Sydney galloper who was very consistent. I think he's actually settled in and acclimatised to Hong Kong very quickly. He
has. He was a bit unlucky here, and you look at some of the horses around him, the form's worked out well. Orionid has gone on to win, Prince Harmony's gone on to win, Infinity Endeavour's gone on to win.
Harmony Hero, of course, was a short price favourite.
Exactly, and he's probably destined for better things as well, so I think it was a good piece of form. His debut was excellent, this horse, and he hasn't done a huge amount wrong since. Gate 1, big chance.
Yep, I tend to think so. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I've got him in. I got him in for second. I've got 1 to beat him, but I think he'll run pretty well.
Well, Speedy King, of course, has been able to pick up a win. He's won 2 in his career. He won his first start at the Valley and won his most recent start at Sha Tin. He had the advantage of Gate 2. He's got that again. He's now up into Class 3 for the first time.
Yeah, he's up in grade, but look, we're up in grade with a lightweight. I've got him in once again. I've got a lot of time for this horse. I thought he was a Happy Valley horse to start with, but he's come out now and won at Sha Tin, so I think Sha Tin's just as good for him, and he did win, and you can see the horse flying down the outside, the 10, came out and won pretty impressive his next start, Raging Storm.
Yeah, and he battles hard, Speedy King. You know, he's still a relatively inexperienced horse, but he shows all the right qualities.
Well, a couple of newcomers, as we mentioned in this race. Let's hear from our jockey Vincent Ho, who's going to chat about Some Street Somewhere, a former Kiwi trained by Stephen Marsh.
Vincent, Some Street Somewhere, he's a Group 2 winner in New Zealand, having his first run in Hong Kong on Monday. You've ridden him in both of his trials. What do you think of this horse?
On the third trial, he was performing quite good. He jumped good and have early speed. And when I asked him a little bit in the straight, and he responds quite well.
Do you think he's fit enough to run some sort of a race first up?
I think he is ready for a race. But then I think we got a so-so draw. So hopefully the race pan out and get some cover, and he should run okay, yeah.
He's an interesting runner. I noted Paul Lally putting him in a horse to follow list for the remainder of the season. So let's get the oil from Paul. Won both his races at Te Rapa, Paul, on softish tracks.
He did, yeah. One of them was at Group 2. I know talking with the connections down there, they had a lot of time for this horse. They think he's the real deal. So we'll see how he goes up. He's going to find a little bit hard coming in a high rating because of that Group 2 win. So he comes in a rating of 80. Is he completely tuned up? I don't know. He's 1,000-odd pounds, so he doesn't carry any excess condition. Look, I've kept him safe and I've thrown him in on a minor line.
Did you sneak him in on what he's done, John?
I haven't got him in, but I think over slightly further, and when he floats down the ratings a little bit, as Paul was saying, I think he's going to be one to keep an eye on with the end of the season in mind. Also, if it really tips it down at a meeting and he gets soft ground and he's there, he'll be one to keep an eye on too. All
right, let's move on and have a look at the other newcomer, Mission Tycoon. Now, this guy had 2 starts in Australia. He was under the same title. He won at Beaumont and Kembla Grange. led all the way in both events.
Yeah, and his trials have been really good here as well. Now, he wore blinkers in both his Australian wins, and he's wearing blinkers here. So he's had 4 trials. He's 12.42 pounds, so he's a big boy, but he looks really fit to me, and I think he's going to run it. He's going to take a load of beating. I'm going to side with him. Joe Moreira's taking them out.
Yeah,
Speedy King was in that trial as well. Didn't put that on the graphic, but he was there, and you know, so that's a good line into the race.
Is he the one that you're tipping to beat Starshine?
Yeah, I think he's a really nice newcomer, and Frankie Law's got him going really well, this horse. Unbeaten in Australia. Some of those tracks you mentioned, Beaumont, Kembla Grange, coming here. I'll put him on top. Joe Moreira's jumped aboard as well. Starshine in there for second. I know, Brett, you made the case there already for him, and from barrier number 1, I think he's going to run very well. We'll give Some Street Somewhere a chance. I think he's got the ability. It's hard coming in on a rating of 80, to be honest with you here. That's the question mark. If he does win this, he's going to have a really good career in Hong Kong. And Speedy King in there for 4th as well. That trial was just OK on the all-weather, but back on the turf, I think he's a different proposition. I went 7, 8, 2 and 10. I'll play the exotics, though, with the first starter, Starshine, and we'll throw Some Street Somewhere in for the value.
OK, same cue for me, just the other way around. I'm going to have Starshine on top. He's a horse I've had basically in the old notebook since as soon as he started, really. It was a very good debut performance, and he hasn't done a huge amount wrong since. Nice draw, should get a good run through the race, and I expect him to go very close. Mission Tycoon has done some really good work on the trials track and in his general work, so he's clearly got to be included as well. Speedy King, like I said before, shown a good attitude, and he's nicely drawn too. Royal Mojito's got a bad draw. His last run down the straight, 1,000, left a little bit to be desired, but his 2 previous runs round the bend were pretty good. Back to 1,200 from the 1,400 round the bend, but I still think he can go OK as well. But it's Starshine on top for me.
Yeah, I settled with him on top as well. Let's move on to the first leg of the T.